UX questions. Your user experience questions answered in 3 minutes or less.
Logan from San Francisco asks, what is poor? I love that question. Thanks for asking, Logan. This is UX question number 72, and I'm Ben Judy. What is POUR? Well, it's an acronym, P-O-U-R, that has to do with accessibility. POUR stands for Perceivable, Operable, Understandable, and Robust. Those 4 keywords are in fact the accessibility principles that make up the backbone of the WCAG or WCAG guidelines. That's another acronym, WCAG, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. The first iteration of the WCAG guidelines were published in 1999, including 3 conformance levels for accessible web pages made with HTML. A major revision, WCAG 2.0, was released in 2008, and that's when POUR came into the picture. Perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust became the major categories for web accessibility success criteria. I'll quickly give you an example of how each of the principles might play out. Perceivable. Imagine the main navigation links on a website are displayed in a different order from page to page. Because a user has to relearn basic navigation for each page, she cannot perceive how to move through the website. Operable. Imagine a website is designed so that the mouse pointer is required to navigate or provide input. A person with low or no vision or motor impairment may not be able to use a mouse. They might be able to use a keyboard just fine, but the website is inoperable because it wasn't designed to make all functionality available from a keyboard. Understandable. If a website has content that relies heavily on abbreviations, jargon, and acronyms without readily available definitions, it won't be understandable, not only to people with certain cognitive disabilities, but also anyone who just isn't familiar with those terms. Finally, robust. Imagine a website has documents or particular code that can only be viewed by a specific web browser. The site is not compatible with other user agents or web browsers. It isn't robust, so it's not usable to some people who prefer to use assistive technologies to access the web or who simply don't have access to that particular browser. These are just examples, of course. POUR principles form the backbone of the WCAG guidelines, such as the current draft version 2.2. I encourage you to check out those guidelines. You'll see all manner of topics addressed, such as providing text alternatives, designing for people prone to seizures and other physical reactions, alternative input modalities, readability, input assistance, status messages, and so much more related to making the web more accessible. The more familiar you become with POUR principles and the WCAG guidelines, the less likely you'll be to do a poor job with accessibility. Keep asking your questions about UX. Next time, I'll answer the question, what are user personas? This episode of UX Questions is sponsored by UX Strat. UX Strat is the premier event where you can interact with the world's best in design strategy and innovation. I attended the first UX Strat USA conference in 2013, and I immediately knew I had found my tribe. The depth of the case studies presented and the transparency in this community of professionals drew me in, and I can't wait to go back every year. At UX Strat, you'll learn things about design strategy and innovation that you won't hear anywhere else. You'll connect with amazing peers in UX strategy and related disciplines, and you'll leave inspired. UX Strat USA takes place in beautiful Boulder, Colorado on September 11th through 13th, 2023 at the classic Boulder Theater. It's the perfect setting to learn new skills, get inspired by the best of the best, and meet your experienced peers in a beautiful location. UX Strat offers a no-risk policy that allows simple ticket transfers if plans change before the event. I'll see you there. Buy your tickets now at uxstrat.com. I couldn't be happier to have UX Strat as a sponsor of UX Questions. Many thanks to UX Strat for your support. By the way, if you'd like to promote your event, your brand, your product, or yourself to the UX Questions audience in a sponsorship spot, just like this one for UX Strat, go to uxquestions.com and click on Sponsor for details. Hey, it's Ben Judy. Thanks for listening to another episode of UX Questions. If you like what you just heard, would you let others know about it? If you're watching on YouTube, click the share, like, and subscribe buttons. If you're listening to the audio podcast, share it with your friends and give us a 5-star rating and write a short review. Those shares, likes, subscribes, and reviews make a big difference. The bigger our audience grows, the more support comes in, the more questions I can answer, the more I can improve the quality of the show, and ultimately, the more we all learn and grow together. Why don't you take a few seconds right now? Share, like, subscribe, rate, and review. Share our social media posts too. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Comment back on this episode and tag your friends and UX colleagues. If I've learned one thing about user experience over the course of my career, it's that there's always something new to learn, some new question to be answered. So keep those questions coming in, and thank you for sharing, liking, subscribing, rating, and reviewing UX Questions.